Hey James, I got a question. Is interest haram in Christianity?
So that's actually the second time I've gotten this question this week. Now, Exodus 22:25 says that they shall not lend to the poor at interest in Israel. So the prohibition there is somebody who's wealthy should not lend money to someone who's poor and expect interest on that money. In Deuteronomy 23:19, it actually prohibits Jews from lending other Jews interest, but does permit it from foreigners. Now notice the prohibitions in the Old Testament are entirely about wealthy people lending to the poor. It's not there to condemn people who borrow money at interest. It's there to condemn people with money exploiting the poor. Now, as Christians, we do not live under the exact same legal code that the Jews lived under. That's called the Old Covenant, where they lived in a specific nation state with specific laws for that specific time. As Christians, we are supposed to see the principles behind those and make wise decisions based on those principles. So the way you'd apply that with interest is Proverbs 28 verse 8, which is written by King Solomon, says, "He who profits by extracting interest from the poor stores up his wealth for he who is generous to the poor." And what that means is we shouldn't be trying to profit off poor people by extracting interest from them. That doesn't matter which law we live under, whether we're Jewish or Christian, we shouldn't be looking to make interest off poor people who are in a difficult situation. That's a bad thing to do. Conversely, the expectation is that God wants you to be generous to the poor, and if you're generous to the poor, you can trust God to provide for you. So that, however, is not a prohibition against investing in someone's business and making money from that. That's not a poor person. That's two people joining their financial forces together in the hopes that they will both profit from that. That's not a prohibition against borrowing money to buy a house. That would be a calculated risk for the long-term good of your financial situation. And it's not a prohibition, again, against you getting something like student loans or something like that. Although not every debt is a wise debt, and the Bible does say the borrower is a slave to the lender, and that's not there to condemn you. That's there to give you wisdom to make sure you're not getting into debt unwisely. It can be very dangerous to be in debt, and we absolutely as Christians should not be exploiting people's debts to profit from them. That's biblical. Our goal is to love our neighbor. Interest is not broadly prohibited in Christianity, but interest for the sake of profiting off someone who is poor is wrong. You should just help your poor brother and trust that God will take care of you.
Thanks for watching. If you have more questions, why not check out the other videos in this series? If we haven't answered your question yet, you can submit it to almeida.org/ask. We aim to answer one question every week. Like and subscribe for more content.